Good morning and welcome.
Well, thank you. It is good to join you, and you're exactly right. Interesting times, and those of us who are members of the Senate Judiciary Committee look forward to being able to vote on a constitutional jurist to be the next justice for the Supreme Court.
Now, Senator, I've been asking my audience this morning, do you want the Senate to act before the election? And the scorecard, and I've only been on an hour and a half, is, I believe, 45-1 in favor of voting before the election. Do you believe that the Senate will vote on the president's nominee before the election?
I think it is certainly possible. You go back, and I'm certain you have looked at the timelines for confirmation for others from the time they were nominated. For Ruth Bader Ginsburg, it was 42 days. Sandra Day O'Connor, 33 days. John Paul Stevens, 19 days. It took Kavanaugh 89 days. Generally, it is about a 60-day timeline. But Hugh, I think this is important for people to remember. Those that are trying to delay this are the Democrats, and they're the ones who want to pack the court and change the Supreme Court. They want to abolish the Electoral College, and they want to structurally, fundamentally, foundationally change this country. So we have to realize that's what we're up against. And whatever we do, we have to remember also, just like with Gorsuch and Kavanaugh, they have already written the press releases of who they're going to oppose, how they're going to oppose. They're just waiting to fill in the names on those press releases. And so whatever we do, they're going to oppose us. We are going to move forward, do our due diligence. The president is within his right. This has happened 29 times before in an election year. And when the party of the president and the Senate are one and the same, they move forward with the confirmation.
Now, Senator, last night, Don Lemon on CNN gave voice to what is the heart of the Democratic Party and the radical left. He said this, cut number 33.
Everybody sticks
We're
with
going to have
15.
to blow up the entire system. And you know what we're going to have to do?
No, I don't know
you
about
know what
that.
we're going to, yes,
Yeah.
what you're going to have to do?
You just got to vote.
Honestly, from what your closing argument is, you're going to have to get rid of the Electoral College. Because the people...
I don't see it.
Because the minority in this country decides who the judges are and they decide who the president is.
But you need a constitutional amendment to do that.
And if Joe Biden wins, Democrats can stack the courts and they can do that amendment and they can get it passed.
Well, you need two-thirds
danger.
vote in the Congress and three-quarters of the state legislatures.
They may be able to do that.
That is what they want to do, Senator. The more they talk, the more they should lose. That's radical.
It is radical. Well, AOC this weekend said, let this moment radicalize you. And when you look at what they have as their 100-day agenda, their first 100-day agenda, if Joe Biden wins, it is socialize medicine, implement the Green New Deal, abolish the Electoral College, make certain that they pack the Supreme Court, D.C. statehood, followed by Puerto Rico statehood, voting rights for felons, 16-year-olds allowed to vote, tear down the wall, health care for illegal aliens. This is their first 100 days. They are telling people this. And if anybody does not believe them, look at the chorus of liberal pundits and newscasters who are taking those talking points from Schumer and Pelosi and repeating them word for word. They are, let me tell you, this left, they may be radicalized, but they are truly the Stepford wives of liberalism. They are all on the same talking points all the time.
Well said. They are. And at least they are being honest with the American people. Don Lemon wants to pack the court and abolish the Electoral College and end the filibuster. Good. They told the people. Let me ask you, though, some members of the Republican caucus have said, let's wait until after the election and then do a deal with the Democrats to assure that packing the court and the filibuster don't happen. I think that is a nightmare. I believe the Republicans will get wiped out if you do not vote before the election. Have you heard the argument I just referenced, and do you believe what my response is correct, that the Republicans will get wiped out? All your colleagues who are running, even someone like Lindsey Graham from a very red state, I think he will lose if you do not nominate a vote on the president's nominee before the election.
I think people expect us to do our duty. We took an oath, and it is our duty to take an action. And people do expect us to do that. They want to see all of these judgeships filled. And, you know, our Senate Judiciary Committee, we've been very diligent in this. We are now at 216 judges we've confirmed for the federal bench. And Lindsey Graham has worked diligently as chairman of that committee to move things forward and to get these justices confirmed. And I agree with you that the sooner we see action, the better it is. And I understand that the president is waiting to make, doing his due diligence this week, and I appreciate that. And, we have some outstanding female jurists that he is considering. When you look at the work that has been done by Amy Coney Barrett and Barbara Lagoa and Joan Larson, these are women who have stellar track records. You can read their writings and opinions. You know that they are originalists and textualists, constitutionalists. They have respect for the rule of law. They are not going to be an activist judge. And
all three of those have been confirmed by Judiciary, as has Allison Rushing, within 2 years. I don't think it will take very long. They've all been before your committee.
That's right. And Barbara Lagoa, she got 80 votes when she went through her circuit confirmation. 80 votes. Yep. So you look at that, and that should give you, if the nominee were to be Barbara Lagoa, then you can look at that vote record from that previous confirmation and get a good indication of how this would move forward. So we will receive the nomination. We will schedule our hearing at Judiciary Committee. And, I think those of us on Judiciary Committee, next week we have the James Comey hearing. We'll be back in D.C. for that. We'll be back to handle the hearing for the Supreme Court nominee. We'll be ready to move that nominee to the floor for a vote. We will, if we have to be here in October in order to do our constitutional duty, absolutely. We should do it.
Senator, on Sunday, George Stephanopoulos on ABC suggested to Nancy Pelosi that they should impeach the president given the Constitution's mandate that the Senate suspend upon receipt of articles of impeachment. If they move to do that, would you support suspending the rules of the Judiciary Committee and the Senate in order to move immediately to take up and vote on the president's nominee?
I really do think we should have our hearing in Judiciary Committee. But you have to take into consideration, and, that would be a decision for Chairman Graham and Leader McConnell if you have the Democrats begin to try to delay even having a hearing for a nominee. And bear in mind, the Senate was scheduled to complete our work prior to the election this Thursday. I really doubt that we will finish this Thursday, but maybe we will, and we will see what the House does. So,
Senator, I just don't believe anyone's mind is going to change. I do like to have hearings because I would like the American people to see the nominee and hear from the nominee, but I don't believe a single vote will change. Do you?
I've got to tell you, it's not that the votes are going to change in committee. It is that the American people are going to be able to get to know this nominee, and we get that record, that nominee's record, into the proceedings of the committee, the record of the committee. And so it's probably all the Democrats are going to vote no in committee. Probably all of the Republicans are going to vote yes in the committee. As I've said, I am fully prepared to vote yes on a constitutionalist who will fill a seat at the Supreme Court. I think it is an imperative.
I am so glad to hear you say that, and I hope at lunch today you let everyone know what the base thinks, which is I believe if it's not done before the election, every Republican running will lose. And I believe that if it is done before the election, John James in Michigan and others will win who are running for office, like in Alabama. So, Senator, go forth and legislate and do your job. I appreciate your joining me this morning. It's always a pleasure to talk to Marsha Blackburn. Now it is time for me.